Hello everyone, and welcome to yet another AnkhBot tutorial, this time focused on even more gambling commands. Now, if you have watched the prior gambling tutorial that I have created, it follows a very similar pattern in order to get these commands to work. It's just the minigames are slightly different. So if you understand how that process works, there will be pastebins in the video description below, and you can use the methods you've seen in the previous video to install the commands and get them working on your channel. If you have not seen the previous video, I will give a brief rundown of the steps you need to take in order to get the commands to work. The new commands I have this time are the Roulette command and the Cut command. Where the Roulette command is similar to the ones in the casino, as seen in this picture here. If you've been to Vegas or anywhere, you've seen this. It's based off this type of game. I've used the European example with the single zero instead of the double zeros. If you prefer to do it the American way in double zeros, you can always modify that within the pastebins. It is not difficult to do. Anyway, like I said, if you understand how to do all this, use the pastebins and follow the steps in the previous video, and you can set these up really quickly. If you don't, I'm going to give a brief explanation of how everything works. The first thing you want to do is find AnkhBot's install location. How I managed to do this in Windows 10 is to go in and type AnkhBot, which says this is what you want, obviously. Right click, go to open file location. Voila. All your text files have to go here. Otherwise the files won't be read. This is one of the two major problems people have setting up commands with an AnkhBot. So make sure you don't make that mistake. And now I'm going to pull up the text files for these different commands and explain how I've set them all up. Excuse me. This one I've titled Roulette R. Now this is based off the roulette picture shown here. Well, how it basically works is if it manages to land on a red number, you will win. If it lands on a black number, if it lands on the 0, you don't win. So you have a slightly less than 50% chance of winning. So how I've set it up is it will remove points based on if you land on the wrong one, and it will add points based on if you get the right one. Add points works is you use the $user to make sure the user who's activating the command, it affects them. I've set it so that they win 50 currency if they manage to win, and it's always 50. You can make it variable if you make this number lower and this number higher. If you want to change that, you have the ability to do so. And this is the message that gets read out in the command. It says user pays 50 currency in order to spin the roulette, or whatever your currency name is, and it landed on red, which is what you wanted to do here. And then user will gain the value, which I've made over here to be 50. It just brings that over in case you want to change this and make sure it consistently comes over. You get the value currency name and net profits. Now I say it's net profits for this one because you don't actually pay the 50. You just dupe it into thinking it's paid the 50 and you get rewarded 50. So it's like doubling your money like you would in a casino. And then this is just a fail command. The roulette is failing to spin at this time, sorry. There's always got to have a backup command in case AnkhBot's being poopy. Now remove points commands, similarly set up. User, the 50. I've set this also so they lose 50. Then they spin the roulette and it landed on a bad one. So they won nothing. And right here is now if you don't have 50 currency, you set it so you have the false set up over here to make sure that they can't go below 0 in currency in AnkhBot, because that is a thing that's possible. If you set this to true, that's the case, but if it's false, it ensures that this error sign comes up that you're too broke to gamble. I prefer having this up just because it's less of a headache. Now I have a few different text files set up for the roulette. Now this is if it lands on a red. I have one here. It wins if you set it on black. This one's set up if you get an even. And 0 does not count as even in this gambling. I tried looking up rules for it. If you disagree with it and you want even to count and be a slight advantage, be my guest. But I know 0 as a real number is even, but it's not in roulette sense, I guess. And I've also got it set up for odd. Now, what I'm saying is there's so many different ways to set this up is I only scratched the surface on this. Now, look, you can set it up so that 1 through 18 is a winner. You can set it up so that 19 through 36 is a winner. You can set it up so the first 12s are a winner. If person bets in the first 12, they're a winner. Second 12, they're a winner. And third 12, they're a winner. And you can also set it up so this you can bet on this row of numbers right here, and this row. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 possibilities, and you can mix and match them. So let me pull this up. Now, let's say you wanted to bet black and even. So if you wanted to create your own command where you're betting black and even, what you do is you find the shared numbers that are black and even, you make them the add points command, and the ones that only happen once, you just switch them to be remove points. And I would adjust it so that if they manage to hit with a combined command like that, so that they'd win more currency, because the odds of that happening are a lot smaller. I mean, you could leave it small and just make it so it's not particularly feasible to do it gambling-wise, but that's up to you. Also, I have made a little change since the last time I've done one of these gambling tutorials. I've switched it so instead of you find and replace Azurency, my currency name, it'll just automatically recognize your currency name, so it makes your life a little bit easier. Now, there is one thing you might need to find and replace. AnkhBot is finicky with quotes. So if you find quotes being funny, you just copy and paste one of these quotes right here and replace it. Just do find and replace and type in a quote. It'll find and it'll fix if you're having a weird issue, the file location's correct and it's still not reading anything, check your quotes. Another way to do a quick test of it is to just pull up a file that has a few words in it and cut this, type in a few words, have AnkhBot read it, and if it can read the few words you type in just fine, it is a quote issue. That's how you narrow it down. It frequently is a quote issue with AnkhBot because when I tried setting these up a long time ago, that was my main problem. So, takes one to know one type deal. Also, I have one more roulette example that I did manage to create. And I call this the winner takes all one. I also created a command that's set up for roulette 0. So you put all your money on to just it landing on 0. So you have a 1 in 37 chance of winning. So it costs 50. You don't have very high odds of winning, but if you do manage to win, you get 2,000. That's how I've managed to set it up. Now you can make that more or less favorable numbers if you see fit, but I make it a nice reward if someone has good fortune to get it. I believe that's fair. And 50 currency rather, can go pretty quickly depending on how you have the distribution set up on your channel. So let's show off these commands real quick in AnkhBot. Now, these commands again use the read ran the line command. Use the read ran the line parameter, and you have to get the file location to put it in. And how I managed to do this is, let's see, which one am I working on now? This is the one I use based off roulette 0. So I look here, I go to properties, you control A, or maybe not control A, just scroll, you copy that, and then you have to put in another / with your text file name and .text. I've forgotten to do this a couple times. I'm like, why is this not working? So be sure to do that. So this will basically copy up to this point. So you have to put in, so this part at this point that I have highlighted right here, you will have to put in on your own. Just don't forget to do this because I think a couple people didn't understand that when I posted a video earlier, so I'm trying to be more thorough this time. Make sure this part of it's in here, otherwise it's not gonna read any text file. So make sure it's actually reading one. Read ran line, as long as the file location's good and it's a place AnkhBot can read, it shouldn't give you any issues. So let's show off how all this gambling works. Make sure I'm under the streamer. The bot cannot gamble. So this is normal roulette for me. Roulette. I paid 50 as currency to spin the roulette, and I landed on black 26. I did not get the green 0, so I didn't win a thing. Now I have labeled these under different ways. So for if you want to bet on red, I put in roulette R. Also, my username just switched to blue. I'm not orange anymore. So I paid 50 as currency to spin, and black 8, I won nothing. Now I'll do roulette B, and I'll probably get a red number. Will I? Nope, I got black 13. I win money. And so with roulette even, I'm sure you get the point, but I just want to show that each works just for my own sake. Did I not spell roulette E right? Roulette E. Maybe that one's disabled. Roulette O. Okay. I don't know why roulette E didn't work, but that if you have the file location set up, it shouldn't be a problem. Who knows? Maybe it's a quote thing going on there. Maybe I'm gonna be stubborn and try. It's gonna tell me it's on a cooldown. I'm not gonna try. I've had that happen plenty of times. I don't know why roulette E didn't go. I've noticed sometimes with AnkhBot, if you do a bunch of gambling commands at once, it kind of freezes up and will sometimes skip one. I don't know if that's the case of what happened here, but the setup in the text files, and you'll find in the paste bins, it should work just fine. It worked for 4 out of 5. That's a B. No, I'm just how they're set up should be just fine. And like I said, there are so many possibilities with this gambling that I should not need to make another gambling tutorial. There are so many combinations you can do just with roulette, and so many manipulations you can do, that so many combinations in that regard that I've barely scratched the surface. I'm merely giving you the tools and like the basics to work with. If you want to create more varied gambling, you have the ability to. Personally, for my channel, I just run with roulette 0, so it's like an all or nothing type deal. But that's mostly because I'm trying not to have gambling going off all the time. You'll notice I put the cooldown for each of these to 60 minutes. So I'm trying to cut back a little bit. I might let more in, but that's not your point. That's not anything for you to worry about. Anyway, I'm going to show off the other quick command I've made for gambling that doesn't revolve around roulette. And I have labeled it the cut command, as you will see right here. Now how the deck cut command basically works is, I set it up so that if you cut a card higher than an 8, you win. If you cut an 8 or below, you lose. There are a bunch of different ways you could do it. You could lower the odds and like only if you cut a face card you win and make the profits higher or what have you. There are so many different ways you can do these. I just cut it up so that you have a slightly less than 50% chance of winning or 50% chance. Not so much with 50% in the slots, but that I posted in the prior video, but this is very simple. It still uses the add points and remove points command. This is a more basic example of what I was showing before with the roulette stuff, basically, so nothing here should be too surprising if you understand the roulette. It's a much simpler command. And same things apply. If you're having issues, check your quotes. And make sure your file location is good. And let's see how the cut command works. I paid 50 cents to cut the deck, and I cut a 10, so I win. So let's see, how much did so I lost here, won here, lost there. I still lost overall. Goes to show. Always put money on the house, they'll never lose. Also, I noticed like in a recent comment that someone was wondering how to get the files saved here. What I recommend is once you get the paste bins to copy paste them into like a notepad text file like I have, and to save it to the desktop. So if you save like anything to the desktop, let's go with say the C cleaner right here. You can just move it here. Ow, you'll need administrator permission. Boom. That's how you get it there. It's not too difficult. So anyway, that's all I really have to say for this tutorial. Hopefully this gives your chat all the possible gambling commands their heart could ever desire. And if it doesn't, well, I think you've created a bunch of addicts, to be completely honest. Or set the cooldowns really low or something, because this is like so many different gambling commands at this point. They should not get bored. Or if not, turn them on to the Cards Against Humanity command or something I've made in prior videos. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this tutorial. If you found it helpful, be sure to leave a like and a comment. It helps people find it, and then they can create more gambling addicts. I mean, have fun in their Twitch chats. And if you thought this was also helpful, feel free to check me out on Twitch. I'll post a link in the video description below. Username is Azure Yoshi, as you see right here. And we usually have a good time. I probably will shut down a lot of these roulette commands, just leaving open the roulette 01, but don't worry. You see all these commands here. If you love your commands, you will not be bored in my channel. Anyway, thanks everyone so much for watching, and who knows when I'll see you next. But, bye-bye.